ladies and gentlemen, apparently what I do for a living is I pee on an electric fence. And there's a lot of good information in there. So come along as I pee on the electric fence. What we're looking at is a storm that right now is lag tagging over Florida. But it will Bombogenesis out up the East Coast. How west up the East Coast is an interesting question. Models, which the king of weather Twitter, crankywxguy, says you can't trust. So compare these against other data sources. Read crankywxguy's blog. I'll leave it linked for you in the information box. And then whatever your normal resources are, don't make investing advice or vacation plans off of this because it's YouTube or whatever. So yeah, we got a giant major cyclonic nor'easter thing. Somebody else coined that, I think. And the models have it trending west. And so the models also have it bombing out at some point. And so this won't hit until about Wednesday. I mean, technically it'll hit. It's hitting now. You know, and I don't want to. It looks like it could bring some seriously heavy rain to North Carolina and possibly Virginia. And then I want to point out some other crazy shit over here. Watch what happens by Spain, man. It's real crazy over there. See how there's like two lows that spin around each other and then go south into Spain and France. That's pretty interesting. And watch as our storm explodes from what looks like a big storm to a much bigger storm as it rides up the East Coast and into Greenland. And then on top of that, the West Coast is going to get about 10 days of rain on and off. Somewhere along the West Coast we'll be getting rain for about 10 days. So that's fascinating. So since I've had my major computer problems, I think the Midwest of the United States has gotten hit pretty hard. Multiple states had major flooding and still have major flooding. Nebraska, South Dakota, parts of Michigan, I believe, parts of Missouri, maybe Iowa. They had some major, massive flooding in Iran and Afghanistan, where like those desert areas aren't used to getting water, and so it's almost, you know, a lot of lakes and rivers and stuff have sand beds, so water just kind of sits there over all the sand, and it's a pretty big tragic deal. We had, was it Eba? I forget the name of the cyclone that hit Africa and wiped out like 95% of the city and left a large portion of the ocean still over the land, which has caused major problems. Australia is still having major problems with flooding issues. Who else? I know I'm leaving people out. And so, yeah, it's just been a really wild weather scenario going on all over. And so we are just watching it to the best of our abilities while I can still breathe and have electricity and a place to live. But talking about volcanoes has been a very dangerous game. Though, in what may or may not be good news, I think Donald Trump signed an omnibus bill that has $55 allocated for volcano monitoring. So I don't get a whole lot of victories. I'll go ahead and call that a Astonishers victory, and then us possibly going back to the moon in the very, very near future. I call it a victory too. All right, but yeah, as you can see, this thing is a monster giant megastorm, and if it were coming at us from the Atlantic, everybody would be watching it like a hawk. Asterisk, who knows, man? Maybe people won't even pay attention to hurricanes this year. And so, heck, I don't even know if it's recording my audio right now. But let me take this chance to remind you, every single month, I do this crazy thing where I have a fundraiser to raise my bills to continue to bring you independent news from my perspective as I look out for everybody. And so I'd like to help keep Thor News alive, up and running, especially for hurricane season. You can make a contribution or donation to my PayPal link, or you can send me a letter because things have gotten so crazy I doxed myself. My address is 5430 Birdwood Road, Houston, Texas, 77096. You can just make it out to Thor, or T. T's my actual first name. As we can see here, watch the West Coast as it's getting rain over, pretty much somewhere in the West Coast we'll be getting rain over the next 10 days from what most models say. And we've got some pretty major storms rolling through as this one rolls out. And that one has a chance to bring some pretty nasty flood totals to possibly Maine and areas north of that. Then there's the storm that comes after it. It looks pretty nasty, and I'm watching this, how it's now teleconnecting up in the middle of the country with more vigor, shall we say. See right there, see how it's like straight up and down, and then it's already starting to try to spin, man. I got a feeling we're going to see hurricanes before hurricane season starts officially in the Atlantic, probably even for the Pacific. And remember, then Australia got hit by like two cyclones, which is a hurricane. Pretty much it's like right at the same time. So the weather is wild all over. I've been highly recommending we focus on the priorities at hand, like prioritize things, work together as a team. As these earth weather changes increase, the masses have not taken my suggestions yet. I'm not sure the corporations are on board either. But, miracles happen. And I'm still alive, you're still alive, so that much is right with the world. Yeah, we will be watching this storm because it's worth watching, and then we'll be watching the storm after that. As Cranky says, on to the next. But we've got it coming and going and one in the middle now. Like the floody season stormy pattern has just started. Hey, that looks like a bird. There's the bird and its wings. Birds can't hurt you unless they fly right into your eyeball with their beak. Then they can blind you. And if you get stuck there and nobody's around, you could probably bleed out. So don't piss off birds, man. Birds are cool. All right. I was like, there's that first bird in the morning when he wakes up and he's all singing. I like birds because they sing, and sometimes they'll sing with you. Look at that. If that thing continues to trend wester, then it could cause more problems. But I'm not here to scare you or make you panic or piss you off. I'm here to say, holy shit, West Coast. You got more rain, snow, mixed precipitation headed your way. We got Mother Nature still picking on the East Coast from the rooter to the tutor, and I guess the rooter would be Florida and the tutor would be Canada. It just, geography. Man, I think they've had over 43 feet of snow in some parts of the Sierra Nevadas. These are wild times, man. And I've been having serious problems bringing you guys information for about 2 years. But it escalates. But here I am, peeing on the electric fence. And I've been having audio problems. Problems with everything. But I'm hanging in there, man. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to have an apartment today. I'm grateful to have electricity. I'm grateful to have a laptop. Thank you, Chris Smith. Thank you, everyone who has ever donated, who's said a prayer for me. Anyone who's ever sent me a letter. Anyone who's thought of something I said and laughed. I appreciate all the love. All right, Senate fails on key vote test for disaster aid bill just minutes ago. 44 yays, 49 nays. Now voting to end debate on entire bill. It needs 60 yays. I think this was a disaster aid relief bill for Puerto Rico. And Maybe they'll include it in the giant comprehensive disaster aid bill that we will need for the Midwest as well, and then probably hurricane season, because my prediction, as it has been the last 2 years, is that we will get hit by 2 or more hurricanes this hurricane season. And I've even called a shot in the middle of October. Should be Cat 4, Cat 5, if my science is correct. But, you know, I don't know. I still think you're sort of allowed to believe whatever you want to as far as sun, weather, God. I don't know. They might be mandating that shit sometime soon. Rob Maeda. What might be better news for the start of the weekend, rain-wise, looks less promising for the Giants' home opener Friday afternoon. Giants shouldn't be deterred by rain, as models have sped up the timing. We'll see if the trend holds. Remember, things are wild, so if your local meteorologist gets a forecast wrong or a storm pops up and you didn't see it, things are kind of wild these days. Hey, we're going back to the moon. That's exciting. All right, so the Dada Boo, the wave master from Florida, pointed out earlier, yep, this is something to watch. It's going to cause problems for a lot of people. Where and when, we don't know specifically, but we got ideas. Tahoe weather, rain and high elevation snow through the week. Light rain showers today and steadier rain, snow showers into Tuesday. The storms may never end. That's what I was kind of saying. Like, the models have rain coming into the West Coast quite a bit, nonstop. I mean, it goes on and off. And then the Lord of the Snow Weenies, who's taken about a 10 to 2 week break from Twitter because not just me and him and a lot of people who do the weather have been getting a lot of flack, man. So yeah, here's his blog. I'll leave a link for you. It's got tons of really great stuff in it, and he can break down the storm. Probably take a better guess exactly where it's going to go. I don't know. I'm just saying this nor'easter, brought to us by Savage Players, is worth watching. And it's probably going to kick up some skirts all along the coast. And I hope I didn't bunch anybody's pants.